So what is the best open source AI? I mean, it feels like a question we should have a simple answer to by now. Well, today we're going to go find it. It seems like it should be easy, right? What is the most powerful, the most capable, the top-of-the-line open source AI out there? You'd think there'd be one clear winner that just rules them all. But here's the thing. That simple answer, it doesn't really exist. And digging into why that is, well, that's actually the key to understanding where this whole field is really going. You've probably used tools just like these, maybe even every day. They're helping you generate images in Canva, write emails in Copilot, but what you might not realize is that just beneath the surface of these apps, there's this fierce, invisible competition raging between the open source AI models that make it all possible. So, to find our answer, we can't just look at a leaderboard. We need a better framework. We have to stop asking, what's the best, and start asking, what's the best for this specific job? And this brings us to what I like to call the two frontiers of AI. On one side, you have the performance frontier. Think of this as a Formula One race car. It is the absolute pinnacle of engineering, designed to achieve state-of-the-art or SOTA performance. But it needs a whole pit crew, a special racetrack, and a ton of specialized hardware with gobs of video memory, or VRAM, just to get it out of the garage. Then, on the other side, you've got the practicality frontier. This is your high-performance sports sedan. It's still incredibly powerful, but it's designed to be used in the real world. It's accessible enough that you can actually get behind the wheel and drive it on everyday hardware. And before we meet our champions, we gotta pop the hood for just a second. Almost every single one of these models is built on one groundbreaking idea, the transformer architecture. Its secret sauce is a self-attention mechanism, which is just a fancy way of saying it can understand context, the subtle relationships between words in a sentence or objects in an image. This is the engine that's driving this entire revolution. All right, let's put our new framework to the test. First up, the champions of language and logic, the models that handle text and code. And wow, this illustrates those two frontiers perfectly. On the performance side, our Formula One car is DeepSeek R1. It's an absolute monster with 685 billion parameters that just demolishes the leaderboards. But you'd practically need a data center to run it. Then, on the practicality side, our sports sedan, Llama 3.1. At only 8 billion parameters, it's still wildly capable, it can read massive documents with its huge context window, and it's been downloaded almost 18 million times. Why? Because people can actually use it. And if you think 18 million is a lot, get ready for this. 94.1 million. That is the insane number of downloads for Alibaba's Qwen 2.5 model. And here's the fascinating part. It's not the best model for chatting. It's a specialist, a powerhouse for technical stuff like coding and math. This staggering number is proof that for millions of developers, real-world utility crushes leaderboard performance every single time. You see, for coding, the best model is all about the job at hand. Are you starting a brand new project from scratch? That's what developers call greenfield work, and that's where a benchmark king like DeepSeek Coder really shines. But what if you're jumping into a giant, messy, existing codebase? That's brownfield work, and the community favorite is overwhelmingly Qwen 2.5C Coder because it's so good at understanding what's already there. And if your biggest worry is just having a clean, simple license for commercial use, StarCoder 2 is your go-to. Okay, so let's shift gears. How does this same dynamic play out in the visual world? Where generative art and motion are evolving at this breakneck pace. Here, the trade-off isn't just power versus access, it's also about coherence versus control. The new kid on the block, the innovator, is Flex.1. It uses a totally new architecture, and it creates these stunningly coherent images that follow your prompt incredibly well, right out of the box. But the reigning king is still Stable Diffusion XL. Its true power isn't just the model itself, it's the thousands of community-made fine-tunes called LoRa's. Think of them like little add-ons that give artists this unbelievable control to dial in any specific style you can dream of. Now, when we get to video, we hit a wall, or maybe a better way to put it is a computational cliff. The problem is just so much harder. You have to maintain consistency, not just in one image, but from one frame to the next and the next. This requires an enormous amount of video memory, that VRAM we talked about. We're talking more than 60 gigabytes. And that hardware barrier has acted like a huge filter, dramatically slowing down open source innovation compared to what we've seen with images. But even with that cliff, pioneers are starting to emerge. The current leader in the open source world is arguably Tencent's Hunyuan Video. Its big innovation is using a really smart multimodal large language model, an MLLM, to understand the text prompt. This gives it a much deeper sense of what you're actually asking for, and human evaluators have rated it right on par with some of the top closed source models. The catch, of course, is that it still needs some serious high-end hardware, but it's a huge sign of what's possible. So after that whirlwind tour through text, code, images, and video, what's the big takeaway? Well, it all circles back to that central theme, the constant tug of war between raw, unbridled power and real-world practical access. So if we zero in on that practicality frontier, the tools you can actually download and build something with today, a really clear picture for 2025 starts to emerge. For general text, Llama 3.1 wins because of its amazing balance. But for a specialized job, like coding in an existing project, the community has voted with their downloads for Qwen. For images, the new Flux One model is a game changer for its speed and commercial-friendly license. What this really proves is that the best isn't one model, it's a whole toolkit with the right tool for each job. And that really brings us back to the most important lesson of all. The best AI isn't a name you read on a chart. It's not the one with the highest score. It's a calculation. It's the most powerful tool that actually fits within your constraints, your hardware, your budget, and your specific goal. And that leaves us with this huge, fascinating question for the future. Is the next big leap forward going to come from building even bigger, more powerful models that only a few can use, or will it come from making these incredible tools more accessible for everyone? The next truly world-changing breakthrough in AI might not be measured in billions of parameters, but in the millions of new people who can finally use it to participate and create something amazing.